There is a pattern that shows up almost everywhere AI is being deployed right now. A company decides to move forward with AI. Tools get selected, systems get connected, workflows get redesigned. The deployment goes live, people start using it. And somewhere on the project timeline, usually around phase 3 or 4, someone has written the words governance framework. It hasn't been built yet, but it's on the list. What you're watching right now is an AI clone, a digital version of me, Ronald. This is intentional. At Data Wonder, we build AI automation systems and voice agents for real businesses. AI isn't something we talk about in theory. It's part of how we operate every single day. If you're interested in what AI actually does inside organizations, not the headlines, not the product announcements, this channel is for you. Hit subscribe if that's the kind of analysis you're looking for. The assumption most companies are working from is reasonable on the surface. Get the technology working first, prove the value, then formalize the rules once you understand what you're dealing with. It sounds pragmatic. It sounds like good risk management, actually. You don't want to over-regulate something before you know what it does. The problem is that this logic breaks down the moment real decisions start running through AI systems. Here's what tends to happen in practice. A company deploys an AI tool. Let's say it's handling customer inquiries, drafting contract summaries, or flagging which leads the sales team should prioritize. At first, it's supervised. Someone's checking the outputs. There's a human in the loop, technically. But within a few weeks, that supervision gets lighter. Not because anyone decided it should, but because the outputs are mostly fine. The workload is high, and people have other things to do. By the time the governance framework meeting finally gets scheduled, and it does eventually get scheduled, the AI has already been running unsupervised for months. It has already influenced decisions. It has already handled customer interactions. It has already generated outputs that someone acted on. And the people in that governance meeting are now in a very difficult position because they're not designing a framework for how the AI should work. They're writing rules around how it already works. That's a completely different task. If you find this kind of analysis useful, a like on this video helps more people find it. Let's talk about what that distinction actually costs a business. When you design governance up front, you make deliberate choices. Which decisions does the AI have authority over? What gets escalated to a human? What data is it allowed to access, and under what conditions? Who is accountable when an output is wrong? These are not complicated questions in principle, but they require answers before the system goes live. Because once it's live, those answers get decided by default. By whoever set up the system, by the first person who said that output looks fine. Let's go with it. When governance arrives after deployment, you're often not correcting the system. You're ratifying it. The policy gets written to match what already exists because changing the system now is expensive, disruptive, and politically difficult. The teams using it have built their workflows around it. The managers above them are reporting improvements based on it. So the governance framework, which was supposed to be a control mechanism, becomes a justification mechanism. And this is where the second-order effect starts to show up. A governance framework built retrospectively tends to protect the wrong things. It focuses on reducing visible liability. It documents what the AI does. It creates paper trails. But it rarely addresses the underlying question of whether the AI should be doing that at all, or whether the people responsible for those decisions actually understand how the system makes them. I've seen this firsthand through clients at Data Wonder. A business comes to us after they've already deployed something, not to improve it necessarily, but because someone, often in legal or finance, has started asking questions. And when we start looking at what's actually running, there's often a significant gap between what leadership believes the AI is doing and what it's actually doing. Not because anyone was negligent, because the technology moved faster than the understanding. That gap between what leadership believes and what's actually running is where governance needs to live. And you cannot close that gap after the fact with documentation. You close it by building clarity into the design process from the beginning. The irony is that governance doesn't have to be complicated to be effective. It doesn't require a legal team or a 40-page policy document before you can move forward. What it requires is that before any AI system goes into production, the people responsible for that business area can answer 3 basic questions. What decisions is this system making or influencing? Who is accountable when something is wrong? And under what conditions does a human take over? Those 3 questions, answered honestly, change the entire trajectory of deployment. They force conversations that wouldn't otherwise happen. They surface assumptions. They prevent the slow, invisible drift toward unsupervised operation. They also make the eventual governance framework much faster to write because you're documenting something that was already designed with intention, not reverse engineering something that evolved without it. There's a broader principle here that applies beyond any specific tool or system. Organizations that treat governance as a sequential step, first technology, then rules, will always be behind. Not because they're careless, but because the sequencing is wrong. The technology doesn't wait for the policy to catch up. The decisions start being made on day one. The workflows form around whatever is in front of people. And once those patterns are established, they are very difficult to unwind. The businesses that navigate this well are the ones that treat governance as part of the design process, not a checkpoint that follows it. They don't slow down deployment to wait for the policy to be perfect. They run both tracks in parallel, moving the technology forward while keeping the accountability questions on the table at the same time. That's not a governance strategy. That's just organizational discipline applied to a new kind of tool. So if you're looking at AI deployments inside your organization right now, or planning one, the question worth asking isn't when do we handle governance? The question is, what decisions is this system already making? And does anyone own those decisions? If the answer is unclear, that's where to start. Before the next deployment, before the next integration, before the next phase on the timeline. Leave a comment below and tell me where you're seeing this play out in your own organization. I'm genuinely curious whether governance is being treated as a first step where you work, or whether it's still sitting on phase 4 of someone's project plan. If you'd like to explore how AI can be built into your business with the right accountability structures from the start, you can book a free call with me. The link is right below this video.